This is your daily market review for Thursday, June 5th, 2025. Let's go.
Hey everyone, this is my channel to help investors and traders develop a probability-based mindset to succeed. Also try and keep friends informed of what's going on in the markets and the economy, and also a little real estate content as well.
This is Dan Max at eXp Realty, aka the Trading Agent, your daily market review, Thursday, June 5th, 2025. Hopefully you had a good day. We're careful. Again, as we've always talked about, there's no certainty in the market. That's why we have the rules and talk about stops, discipline. And guess what happened today? Big fight between Mr. Trump and Elon. Well, guess what? That's the kind of stuff that you don't and you really can't ever predict fully with certainty in the market. As smart as you might think you are, throws wild cards, black swans, and all sorts of wild things can come out of nowhere at times. So, again, if you're new to the channel, check out the Discord room, links description below. And yeah, let's get into it. So, whatever ultimately happens here, I personally think this Tesla is not bottomed yet. Be careful here if you're looking for bottom fishing on this. Again, this is an education channel only, is my opinion. Make sure you chat with your financial advisor or just do your own homework before you decide on anything. Because again, these are just opinions. But me personally, I don't think this is a one and done type of thing, especially with the way that this is going to play out potentially. Because now Elon might be sued if the Epstein stuff is wrong, and he could for liable, or shareholders might. It could be messy. And again, at this point, this is why I continue to tell people the safest place in the market is not tech. It is commodities and materials, industrials, and again, it will prove itself again over and over, as it has in the last couple of weeks, to be the case. Not necessarily they're all flying and going crazy, but they're not going to go lower, in my opinion. And when I say lower, meaning like, again, I think the bottoms are in versus some of these names in certain lands. You want to take a bet whether Apple's bottomed, Tesla's bottomed, AVGO after hours with earnings. I mean, it's going to be a hard game in summer, in my opinion, for some of the folks who are ultimately trading what has worked for the last couple of years. But in my opinion, that's where rotation is ultimately, that money I think is going to shift, because the way that you build this beautiful future in tech, in green, not necessarily green, AI, whatever you're going to need materials, folks. So again, let's be careful out there. If you're new to the channel, check out the Discord room, links description below. Let me know I can help. If you'd like to chat Calendly, take 30 minutes to chat. Again, if you're looking to buy, sell, invest in real estate, again, I love helping people find a great agent, do the work to put them in touch with someone that's going to do a great job. Because right now, the real estate market is not easy. And if you're working with someone mediocre, it's going to cost you more than you think. You're worried about maybe a commission, 1 or 2%. The reality is you might get crushed by using the wrong listing agent or buying a house and overpaying for it. So also, again, follow, like, subscribe, and the notification bell on Twitter, YouTube. Again, Twitter, we're posting some more trades and ideas. And again, tons of education on the YouTube channel, tons of more great content. Also, check out thetradingagent.com, all the reviews, turn profits into passive income and properties. I mean, that's the goal here is, again, it's great to have a big stock market portfolio, but I'm telling you, the richest people in the world are getting paid when they sleep, and they're not taking risk on it. And you're like, what are you talking about? Meaning that they're not riding stocks. Right now, some of the richest people in the world have had luck with stocks, but most do it with real estate and passive income. Just that's the fact. Again, not everyone can get lucky in trading. We talked about the fear and greed index, how the market chopping around. To me, in this neutral to greed area, nothing to really it's not worth focusing on. Again, we talked about the June meeting coming up. There is no expected cut. The first one, I'm pretty sure I was going to say July, maybe. It's probably going to be September if it does happen. That's why I'm telling you, I think it's going to be a long summer, choppy, sloppy summer. Trade deals, China. Now, again, it looks like Xi and China are going to meet with Trump again. And this is what's interesting about the whole discussion, and one of the biggest hangups are rare earth metals. This is what I'm telling you about. Like, materials are the name of the game, in my opinion. If you're building out this new future, you need materials. You need rare earth metals. You need the stuff that goes into all this electronics. And I'm telling you right now, we are underinvested everywhere in the world is. Just be careful. That's why, to me, it's the safest play. You want to build out that beautiful future, you're going to need inputs. And I'm telling you, we're heavily underinvested. Bitcoin, as I've said, I don't trust it at all until you break over the 110. And here we go. It freaking drops almost $6,000. I don't know what to tell folks. I mean, now it looks like a head and shoulders top. Left shoulder, right shoulder, head. Yikes. What, you better hold 95,000. That's all I can say there. Oil chopping around. Seems to be okay. Again, I think geopolitical risk wise, I don't think there's much downside unless the world falls apart. And if the world does fall apart, I still think that there's the downside is limited. Natural gas, again, we talked about chopping around. I like it at lower prices if you can get it. Can you dig it? All right, let's get into it. A dollar, we talked about this is a big choppy range after getting slammed. Your guess is as good as mine on the next one. TLT, again, I like bonds. I like the action potential, but again, this is where it's going to be hard, right? We've been trading in a range for multiple years now. I'd be watching what happens if we get down this 82 range, but maybe we don't get down there. I mean, this is what's so hard. If you feel like the bottom's in, great. That's some big effing volume, but look what happened. I mean, you came down, you made new lows. So it's kind of I don't think we'll get over below this 82 level, but I'm definitely watching it. Again, I'm not trading it. VIX, we talked about the 17 level, probably holding on the first test. You got it. Or on the second test, potentially just coming into it. Should be watching this level. Held it on the first test, right? Here we go. Okay. Again, VIX typically bottoms first. I mean, I don't mind volatility here. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if it continues a little bit. Again, just picking your names well. That's all I can say to that. Again, I like the material, and we'll get into stuff I like, but staying away from most stuff that's market related, market generic shit, as I call it, stuff that everybody's trading in. Here you go, SPY. That looks like a little bit of a failure up there. We'll keep an eye on it. QQQ obviously had a little more pain. If you bought the SQQ in the morning, feeling pretty good. Again, I don't have a position on in the markets short with the indexes right now. I thought about it this morning. I really had a strong thought. I'm like, man, SQQ right around, I don't know, 22 made sense. Closed at 23. Not a bad trade here. Again, the risk reward is definitely to the downside in the indexes. But again, just be aware that the market can rotate and flows. I try to reiterate this really hard with people. Money's not destroyed. It rotates. Keep that in mind. It's not destroyed. IWM, I like how it's holding up. Again, I like small caps as well. To me, that's my easiest. I mean, this trading much cheaper compared to the market of the SPY and the QQQ. Very cheap compared. Again, 16 or 15 PE versus 20s. Way different. Way cheaper. So just be careful on that. Again, I like the IWM on dips on long term. DIA, nah, I don't really care. Gold, again, seasonality. I've said this ultimately many times. Not to say that it can't break out, but this is what we talked about in April, that seasonality of the second quarter, and you have gotten chop and slop. Again, I like this stuff long term. Silver looks like it's broken out, but damn, that candle's fugly. Now, again, we'll see what happens here. I mean, we talked about this. I like materials and metals. I mean, I like this long term with the dollar action and the potentiality of spending and the Fed's cutting rates and everybody recognizing that no matter what the hell happens, that's why even China's fighting over, like, that's been the issue with the negotiation, is locking up rare earth metals, locking up industrial metals. See what happens here with silver, right? Again, I've been holding physical for a long time, so I don't have any real plays in the actual paper stuff. GDX, not a big. Again, second quarter is typically, again, we've gotten the consolidation. Can we break out? That candle does not look big, and it looks a little sketchy. Again, I'm not saying it can't go higher, but again, keep an eye on it. GDXJ, again, junior miners look better. We talked about how AEM has been the leader up. Hasn't been really acting like it, so keep an eye on it, right? Like, I'd expect this to be like 130. See what happens. AG up a whopping 15% today. Congratulations. If you bought this at the lows. Again, we've talked about this. It's just been a big sloppy doppy channel. And where is the market sinking money? That's what you got to ask yourself. Metals miners, that's the stuff we're talking about. That's why I like it. Newmont. I think this should be a little higher again. Some of these names pass. And look at that nice breakout potential. Again, I said on record, I wouldn't short this stuff, was waiting for it to consolidate. Again, second quarter is not my favorite. But here's the thing about these trades. If this is going to be a longer term trade, I'm not really that concerned about missing the early part of it. So just keep an eye on it. Again, I like this stuff long term. I'd be waiting for dips, as I've said, or waiting to get past the second quarter. Taiwan Semi, feels like a head and shoulders top again. I don't trust tech. Taiwan Semi's a little different because they're the ones producing all the chips. But keep an eye on it. Just keep an eye on it. Micron, this one, as we talked about, when it got over the 200-day, I mean, here you go. Look where it failed again, up at 110. We talked about these things being oversold and just being choppy and sloppy. This is why I don't want to fuck with them. I mean, this is the stuff, I mean, a lot of these names and the materials names have been through this already for years. You're just starting to see it here. I mean, I guess AMD has been doing it for years, but yeah, you're going to play the game. And I don't think they're going to ultimately end up as high as people think. I think what's going to happen is, again, as money rotates, these names get waterlogged. And it can happen for years. NVIDIA, again, I don't trust NVIDIA at all. $3 trillion valuation. This could be the market ATM, right? People cashing out, right? Right? So just keep an eye on it. Again, I personally, this is what's so crazy is, like, if you look at the weighting of the material sector in the S&P 500, it's less than 2%. Where, again, these names that are like tech names that are $1 trillion market caps, I mean, you could buy literally like 1,000 Alcoas with the valuations of some of these tech names. They don't make sense. So just be careful out there. SMCI, chopping around. Again, I don't really have a beef in that one. Intellectual property. We have talked about it. Range lows, range highs. Seems to be sticking around. AVGO, after hours. I mean, it's had a huge run up. I mean, it's at 248. I mean, which is right back around where it broke out from. Again, I mean, they better announce a big buyback. Let me go check real quick. Did they announce anything specific? Man, a lot of stuff down after hours. I probably shouldn't be showing this screen because it's not private, but it's protected stuff. But did they? Broadcom beats. Okay, yeah. All right, we'll see what happens here. Again, they're not going. Apple seems to be trying to cut them out at this point. What's the upside? I don't know. I mean, after that big of a run, just be careful, right? You don't know anything for sure. SMH, chopping around again. I don't trust SMH at all. I mean, if you took the short on it, SMH today, it looks like a pretty good spot to do it. So, tech again, and to my opinion, has the biggest risk. Adobe, chopping around. Apple. I don't know why people are looking at the stock. I personally think it's just dead money. I mean, the market can make new highs without Apple. It can. I mean, the market, again, when money rotates, it doesn't have to come back into Apple. And it can just stake around. And this is where it sucks. I mean, I've talked about it. This stuff can just chop around. Amazon, I just moved to, like, again, holding up pretty well. Again, I'd be watching the 220 area if we can get up there. Meta, everyone's looking for the 700 range. Pretty damn close. We're in it. Yeah, nice trade. Congratulations if you traded this. Again, I'd be watching how it acts up here. CRM, decent little bounce, right? Chopping around. Yeah, keep an eye on. A lot of the stuff can just play the chop game. Guggenheim, chopping around again. Got to get over the 100, 200-day cross. Microsoft, it's been holding up better than most near the highs. Keep an eye on it. NDAQ, again, I like the short up here, right? At the just 84. I mean, it makes sense to me. Just keep an eye on it. MicroStrategy and Bitcoin, if it's not going, it's not going. And here comes MicroStrategy, should be coming right back down to, I don't know, what levels, maybe, I don't know, 330s. Again, I personally don't want to play in the space. There's just too much risk. And again, if you do trade the options are jacked. So again, unless you're selling options, just don't even play it. Netflix, we talked about this blowing off top. Yeah, I'm not touching it, but I feel like it should be. Roblox, again, I watch this every day and said, this is a leader. Look at this. Just cranking. Again, I don't know what is causing it, but guess what? It's doing what it's doing. CrowdStrike, gap down on earnings. We talked about holding this 450 area. Keep an eye on it. PanW, this one's been identified as, to me, like, again, I think it has a good upside. Big consolidation pattern. If it breaks out, it breaks out. Congrats on it. Just keep an eye on it. Again, tech, certain tech. Again, I like cybersecurity. I'm not else. Let's end it with Tesla for tech because this is where it gets ugly. Talked about the levels in today, and it's like, man, we filled the gap and retested. Again, we talk about high volume highs and lows of big bars love to retest. That's just a fact. When the bar is huge and it's high volume, it loves to retest, man. Keep an eye on that. So look where we ended up bottoming. Again, shot in the dark. I honestly thought it could be 50-day, 200. Didn't take any of them. And I personally think that this isn't a one-day thing. Now, again, we could bounce after hours or tomorrow, but it's pretty technically ugly. Again, institutions got to be worried about what's his name and what he's going to say. Palantir, seems to be pulling back. I guess the big beautiful bill is dead. I don't know if this is how it's trading off of, but again, I'm not touching these names. Insight, again, I like this one. We talked about this is a buyout target in the mid-50s. Congrats. HIMS, I don't think this is a mode around this thing, and it actually is rather scary. I don't know why people think it's going to 1,000, but guess what? If I'm wrong, great. If I'm right, this one just, again, they have no barriers to entry, like resistance from other competition. So BABA, as we talked about, this one, love to have seen it at 110. Nice little bounce. Again, 10 points, not bad. McDonald's, again, this one is going nowhere. Starbucks, like this one at the lows, broke the 50-day, kind of chopping around again. I'd love to see what happens at 76. Airbnb, keep an eye on this one, right? Man, it seems to be building. Coin, again, I don't like Coinbase. I think got to add to the S&P 500, and it feels like it's getting distributed. DKNG, there's so much betting and the competition and betting. I mean, we watch this one, and it's like you got to be no. Again, there's just too much competition at this point. It's such a saturated market. Again, this thing could be going nowhere for a long time. Costco, look at Costco today. Rather interesting, right? This one's been a high flyer. Did they get into a fight with Trump? Broke the 20-day. If it breaks the 20-day, it typically comes back down to some other moving averages. Again, I don't have a position in it, but I mean, that just looks a little sneaky there. Just be careful on it. Again, FedEx, I like this mid 215s with a stop. We've talked about it. Just seems hasn't been going anywhere. Again, if I would have owned this, I would have gotten out because it's just not acting right. XLF, as we talked about, financials need a break if the markets are going to break. Seem to be breaking the 20-day subtly, but the oomph is not really there. Hood, we talked about, this has been an up. This name has been an up and leader. Today's bar after a breakout, it's not what you want to see. See what happens if it fills the gap and holds. Could be all right, but man, I'm not a big fan of that. I do not like that bar with volume. JP Morgan breaking the 20-day. All right, we'll see. Morgan Stanley held up pretty well, right? Hold the 20-day. Goldman Sachs, Bank of America holding the 20-day. I mean, it's not really clear evidence here what's to expect. KRE seems to be holding around. Like, again, if the market was out to dump, it'd be more than down 4 cents. XBI, again, I like bios. We talked about this since the lows. It's just be patient. Seems like it's trying to break. Right, here's your last capitulation. Here's your consolidation. Watch the 100-day. Jets, again, if you like this stuff, I don't know. It seems to be consolidating. XHB housing, like I thought housing would be getting crushed even more, and it seems to be holding up. So someone knows something. Remember, someone always knows something, especially hold a stock up. Let's get through like some of my commodity names. This is where the money's at, in my opinion. Dow seems to be holding up pretty well post dividend. I mean, you get the volume down here. Just keep an eye on it, right? CE, these names, like again, they all look very similar, consolidating or compressing. Caterpillar, up, down, compressing up here, right below the 200-day, worth a watch. DE, I mean, Deere's been on fire over the last couple of months, almost years. Holding, watch the 20-day. Nucor, again, not surprised it pulled back somewhat today, just chopping around. This one feels like, again, another one that's bottom. X is going to get bought, right? X meaning U.S. Steel. Keep an eye on it. IIIN. Here's another materials name that just hasn't cared about the market, but it's been consolidating after a nice breakout of the down channel. Worth a watch. I mean, VALE, I'm watching this one today. It feels like it wants to go. Again, if this consolidation, once you break that 200-day, this thing could start ripping. Worth a watch. Arrow, again, light copper a lot. After a big update yesterday, hit the backside of an old trend line, bounced and pulled back some. I mean, I still like this. I think we're, I think you're going to get up into that 17, 18 range near term. Then I might take some profits. And I mean, best case scenario would be the 2-time range. Good, let it run. FQVLF, we talked about this one chopping for a long time, y'all. Is this about to go? Is it about to go? Keep an eye on that. Again, we like copper stuff. Look at SCC again. When the market's down, look what was up today. Hits the 200-day. I see that. But let's see what happens tomorrow. Freeport McMoran, right? Getting over the 200-day. URNJ, again, we like this one on dips. It's hovering on the 200-day. CCJ, again, I can't chase it up here, but this thing is holding up pretty damn well after going from 36 to 60. CF, again, we like the ag names. Look at this guy holding up really well. I mean, indifferent on the market. This is what I'm saying. Like some of this stuff just, here's the market, and this stuff is just ripping. But when you zoom out, you go, oh, there can't be much there. And you're like, oh, shit. There could be more room. And again, I think Mosaic is a good example of that too, right? We talked about Mosaic. A lot of people trade in this one. I mean, this thing was at a 80. You're still only at 36 bucks. SQM I started really loading this one in the last 2 days. Again, I don't know. Again, this is with options. It could be a little tricky if we have to go back down to the lows, but it feels like, again, you had a big consolidation. This is one of my favorite fucking patterns. Big chop zone, fake breakout, come back down, looks good, fake out, new lows, and then rips right back into it. This could be a slingshot. Now again, see what happens here. Little chop after the gap. And I mean this gap right here, right? This is the professional gap off the lows. Keep an eye on it, right? I mean, I can't promise you anything, but I like this formation, right? Because you trap everybody. You mean everyone's like, again, big boys are accumulating. Everyone's getting frustrated. People give up on it. They puke it out. They think it's bottomed because it holds the back of the range. Then you take out the lows and you come right back in. I'm telling you, man, if this was like a upside down, you'd be like, whoa, this looks like a top. Yeah, looks like a bottom. NTR, been holding up well. Again, aluminum, AAA, Aeron, loving it. Da-da-da-da-da. Another big-ass consolidation pattern. Here you go. Breaks the lows, plays the game, and then boom. And again, here we are coming back into an old trend line. I'd be watching what happens up here at the 28, 29 level, and then I think the next level is in the low 30s. Kalu holding up again. These names were all green today, right? The candle might be a little red, but these names have been holding up really well. Again, like as the market can't even clear where it was months ago, a lot of these ones are making new highs. MP, we talked about watching this one holding the 19 level. Nice work. REMX, again, I like this one. Again, shout out Demnex, reminding me of this one. Like, look, okay, here's that pattern, but here you got a retest. Boom. Keep an eye on it. Again, Cliff, interesting. This was down today. Again, if you watch this, I mean, I went from 5. This thing has been beaten. Here again, the new low, chopping around. Watch what happens to get over the 50 day. Because over the 50 days, this thing could fly. Solar, congratulations. First Solar, you tricky little bastard. You tripped me out. Again, it's probably going to go higher without me. Sedge, I don't trust these Sedge and ENPH, but just curious watching them just to see how they're flowing. ENPH, again, like I said, First Solar, nice work, market makers. Again, I just was watching the market. I'm like, man, I don't want to trade. Like, I don't want to watch this because I had some options that expire next week that are 160s. And when it came back this morning, they pulled the rug on the bid. And I was just sitting there going, man, if this thing flops, they're going to really destroy these options. So I just took them off in here. And again, of course, it holds up after I dump. I mean, that's a pretty typical formation potential of frustration, right? Like, how many people do you think we're sitting here going, oh, it's time to go, it's time to go, it's time to go. Then it goes. Again, as someone seasoned trader, even I get kicked out and confused sometimes, and you make mistakes. That's part of freaking trading. HYG, keep an eye on it. Corporate debt, if it starts melting, that could be an issue. Oil is holding up really, really well today. Again, I know the candle's red, so everyone's like, oh, it's down. It's like, no, it's up today. Natural gas, I hate the UNG. I just hate this product. I'm just amazed that people trade it. KOLD is the short when you want to trade this stuff. Looking good if it gets a bounce. XOP, as we've talked about, I like this stuff. Consolidating under the trend line, but just keep an eye on it. If you bought Gush, down the 15s, you're feeling pretty good. We talk about the gasoline names chopping around. I mean, if they start breaking, then maybe some more oil downside, but keep an eye on it. I like ExxonMobil. We talked about this. I mean, you've got some pretty good spots here to watch. BP, a lot of these names have already had some nice bounces and consolidating, so just watching. Like Occidental, if you like this one in the low mid 30s, I mean, that was awesome. Now we're chopping around. Keep an eye on it. Again, Devon Energy, a lot of these names, I'd just be looking for pullbacks, right? Apache, I like this. Just wait for pullbacks. If you don't get them, you don't get them. Lyondell Base, another one, right? Just back at the lows. You want to trade that? There you go. CVE, really wanted to pull the trigger on this one. Yesterday, didn't. Still waiting. Again, I like these names. EQT, this one's been holding up really dang well. Again, when you think about natural gas, think of it from the perspective of exporting. That's where the big upside is in natural gas. It's sending it over to Europe. It's not us having all the, it's just using it ourselves. So last but not least, Flex LNG. Again, keep an eye on this one. Again, I'd like this one. We've talked about it. Has a huge dividend. Sold it at the channel high. Now we're right back at it and potentially breaking it. Keep an eye on it. Again, if you own the stock, congrats. I mean, I like to trade around a lot of names, and I don't know if I'm going to chase the breakout on that one, but it looks good. I mean, it'd be one of those ones where if you stuff it in your portfolio and just leave it there, it makes complete sense. I have no problem with that. But again, managing trades, it's been choppy and sloppy. So, and if you have any questions, don't hesitate to reach out. Again, if you're taking on exorbitant amount of risk by trading things that you're not comfortable with or trying to overtrade based on certain, I don't know, patterns, and this is where the pattern, not even patterns, it's more of like data patterns. Like, this is what's so hard about the market. And people might take this personally. I don't mean to take it personally, because again, I've been burned by it. They're like, oh, I was looking at the options action. I was looking at the position and with the CTAs. I was looking at this and a million things. And so you're always looking for certainty. And the problem in certainty in a probability-based game is that you're just going to get screwed over at some point. So this is where, again, use all this data that you're using, but also back check it, meaning like, don't believe in it as certain, right? Like, there's nothing certain, because again, if you're sitting here saying to yourself that you can't lose, that's usually when the market's about to pull the rug. And that's what we've seen many times. And I've lived through that about what feels like 7,583 times. And every time you learn a little bit. So again, if you have any questions, don't hesitate to reach out. Always here to help. Appreciate all the love, support, generous donations. Again, going into a jobs day tomorrow. And this is why you watch to the end. Doji is the typical formation on a jobs day. Again, it's on my website. It's in the freaking YouTube series. It's on Discord room. This is what we talk about. Doji, meaning an indecision day. So I wouldn't be surprised, especially after today's down day with whatever happened, between the boys in the White House and Mr. Musk. But be careful out there, okay? Do yourself a favor. Know your downside, and just remember, the summer is going to be a tricky, sneaky, hard time. And when I say that, I mean it in the meanest way, in the nicest way. Like, it's always like that. And the reason why mean popped in my mind, because the market can be mean in the summer. It can be a choppy, mean son of a bitch. So, all right, always here to help. Talk to you guys and gals later. Peace.
Hey, thanks for watching. If you have any questions, stop by the Discord room. A link is in the description below. Also, if you'd like to help support more free content, the PayPal link is in the description as well. I appreciate your continued support of the channel.